Okie dokie. What is up, folks? It's your boy Preston. And today we are going to do a stream dedicated to the finals at Texas Natties. Shout out Texas. I'm not sure who sent over the footage, whether it was Laughlin or Hinkle or whoever, but they put on a great tournament and provided the content for today. So, without further ado, we will not start. We'll wait for you to fill up the chat room, and then we'll go. A few things, though, while we're filling up. I am going to keep track of all this goodness right here. Aces, this is a D, turned out to be a B, but double faults, errors, defensive conversion, and rally. These two are a little bit tricky. I know a lot of people kind of get mixed up between defensive conversion and what a rally is. In my eyes, defensive conversion is when the serving team defends and puts the ball back on the net. That is a defensive conversion in my eyes. What up, Noah? First comment. Thank you very much. If you guys are in there, let me know. Say what up. I would love to see who's here, who's hanging. But yeah, so defensive conversion, like I said, is the serving team gets a defensive up and then puts it back on. What's up, Nick? I plan to wreck your life. And then a rally is a 4 change of possession. So serve, return, put on the net, defensive, put on the net, and then one more defensive up and put on the net. So that is what I call a rally. Again, aces, double faults, anything like that. Anybody in chat? I know I'm going to suck at it. Does anybody want to track either like aces or double faults or something? One of those two, honestly, would help a butt ton, and then after the game I will say, hey, so-and-so, what do you got? If not, no big deal. But we are going to start. I'll try. JC says I'll try. Yeah, sure, and Cathedral Gear just came and said, let's freaking go. That's what I'm talking about. You are now legit homie. JC, if you want to do like aces, I believe that'll be helpful. And then if someone does double faults, I can just literally watch and commentate. Yeah, count aces, double faults. No, yeah. All right. Without further ado, let's use this sick little sick. And let's get underway. Teams-wise, we have Giloff and Coleman. And then we have David Louie and Nick over yonder, who's in Grant's armpit currently. By just doesn't matter. You can do individual or not. You can literally just put in, aces and or double faults as a whole. All right, let's do it. Thank you to Ryder, first off, for cutting all this up, making it all easy to watch and simple for me to go through. Because otherwise it's going to be like 4 hours of footage, but it's 20 minutes. All right, Coleman to serve 0-0. Let's get it, boys. Give him the thumbs up. Bing. Oh, started off with a ripper. All right, you guys can comment how much you want to see me, break down form and whatnot. This is high-level play, so realistically there shouldn't be that much. But blatant, obvious, big things like this set, as you always know, I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to go back and talk about it. But if you guys don't want to hear about it, just say, hey, Preston, I don't want to hear about it. Anyway, like I said, ripper of a serve. Honestly, good serve receive stance. He's moving, he's grooving. This set is the biggest thing I'm going to talk about. So he gets his feet there. We see that. Great job. He moved his butt. The only thing I don't love about this set is that he's turning a lot to try and set the ball versus running through that ball, pushing it high, and giving his teammate time to track and to be able to hit the ball on the net. Instead, he, gets his feet there pretty solidly, but then you'll see here he turns to set the ball, and then he has a low trajectory, quick trajectory, and then he just yeets it at the net. And Nick is still, trying to read what's going to happen, and by the time it hits the net, he's just too late to handle. So that's the big first thing we're going to say. I thought it was a good serve return for what it's worth, and not a bad set, but just a recoverable point. Just something to note. So here we go, moving 1-0 now. Nice serve. First off, Grant's little jumping set. All right, we got to go back here because I like to, and we can think of a name for this segment or a name for this term, but I like to go back to where I think the point should be dead. And you guys in chat can throw it out there, and I'll give you a hoorah, yow, something like that if you're right. But for me, pretty solid serve receive. He's about 7 feet off the net. Moving wise, decent. But if you watch this set, he's almost setting fully extended, and he's falling backwards as he's setting fully extended, which means it's hard to make a proficient and consistent set. So if we watch, it comes off pretty chunky. Honestly, not the worst set because he does follow through, like he is pushing, and then he's letting his momentum take him where he should go versus trying to fight it. David Louis, not a bad setup here. Pretty high though, pretty high contact. He's, I don't know, you guys can call me if I'm wrong, but probably about 1.5 feet between the net and the ball, and he's choosing to swing from 4 or 5 feet up, which just changes trajectory tremendously and is going to allow Coleman to get this touch. So for me, with serve receive, with the set, it should be a kill. And Nick just commented, said he sucks at those sets. You don't suck at the sets. Honestly, if you just compress a little more and then just boop it versus reaching and then open hand and slapping it, you'll have a good contact set. But anyway, I mean, good read by Coleman, way to stick in it. Grant Laughlin, we've worked on setting before. It's not honestly the worst. Elbow's a little tight and everything. He does this little cute jump to give it a little more. But he gave Coleman what he needed to put the point away. Bada bing, bada boom. 2-0 now. Little pocket there. Ooh. One thing I want to point out, and this might be a common theme, so I just want to say it early, is A, serve receive, with the slippage, solid. David Louis gives him a timely set right over the middle. One thing here, you see Coleman rotating around, lifting up and swinging 100% into the body might not be the move. Coleman's pretty quick. He's pretty good at being low, and he's pretty effective when he's at the net. So for me, I see that. I see a rushed set and a rushed defense to cover that area. I'm pushing it right into him. I'm flicking it. I'm doing something versus yeeting it, because playing against Jarrett Rouse for years, I have learned if you yeet it, more times than not, it's going to ricochet and go up. In this case, he yeets it. Again, broken leg. We talk about looking athletic. It doesn't quite look athletic, in my opinion. Coleman, I think he could have literally just thrown his whole body there and gotten it up, but he gets a tremendous hand and, goes the other way. Unfortunate, but what are you going to do? Called the side pocket. I don't have the view for it, so I don't need to go back too much. But yeah, we're going to... I love to see it. Side pocket. Ace. Boom. Even if it happens to me, it's just a good feeling because there's so much gray area around the pockets and whatnot. Also, ace. Ace. Somebody, let me know if you're counting it, because otherwise I don't need to keep track of aces. If you're just joining in, I'm keeping track of aces, double faults, defensive ups. Oh, defensive conversion. We had one earlier. Boop. Yeah. If someone's keeping track of it, let me know. David Louis with another ace. Bop. Okay, can we talk about David Louis' little waving goodbye to his opponents before he serves? Bop. Oh, good. It was bad. I thought it was bad. I was going to rewind and say, let's talk about this, but we don't need to. Double fault from Grant. I'll keep track of the double faults because I haven't heard from anybody saying they're tracking them yet. But we have 2 double faults so far. What a tough set. Tough set. Tough set. Everyone's saying, bummers. And you guys know I talk about setting a lot because it's important. Let's see. I think this is double fault. I might have gone back too far. Oh, no. Here we go. So we talk about this set here. I mean, he's reaching deep across his body. You can just tell there's not a lot of body behind that ball. So it's going to be hard to make that perfect set. But honestly, I thought it was a good set. in terms of placement wise, and then Grant's choice of hitting here to go from a nice buttery set to just yeet the ball straight down. I know you're in Texas, but hit that flick shot. Look at this area. This whole area is wide open, but somehow, what the heck did I just do? I could have sworn. Grant, great hit. I take everything back I just said. Where the heck is my rally? Dude, what even happened? Guys, can you tell me? Did I screw up royally? Oh, here it is. I don't know what the heck happened. Grant, great hit. Sorry I talked crap. I thought for sure something happened. I'm keeping track. No. You're good, JC. All right, here we go. That's the tough set we're looking for, folks. Sorry for that little hiccup. All right. Good serve. Grant kind of stops a little short here. Plants hard. And again, it's just a matter of really using your actual trajectory to follow through and then just let your arm do all the work and push with that elbow. Instead, he tries to, crunch hard on this foot. His hips are going backwards. His body's going that way. He's trying to set this way. That's a tough set to make. And as you see, it lands super short. Coleman, honestly, pretty solid form. He's about 3 feet off the net. He opens up his shoulder a little bit, and he allows that ball to drop low enough to where he can get a low trajectory. And look where he hits it, like a foot above the net. That's a good hit from Coleman. Yates it. Solid up, 1-2. It's hard to blame anybody on this one. I mean, you got to take the defensive up when you get your chance, and they did. Here we go. Again, guys, if I am talking too much or talking too little, you feel free to tell me. Double fault there. 1, 2. Good. That was the hit that I was about to talk crap on. It was easy. If they got that up, I was going to be mind blown. But good variety from Grant so far. He's got some lefties going on. He's got cuts. He's got jams. Something I like to see out of a lot of players is to throw out variety versus just ripping serves. Yeah. Good serve. That was a very good controlled set from David Louis. Nick, we're going to talk about that hit in a second because that's where it should have been over in my opinion. Dude, we're going back. I keep doing this. I keep going backwards when I need to go. All right, here we go. Good serve, Steve. Compose. David Louis. Solid set here. He got his feet there. He was able to turn. And that's something you guys might be slightly confused about. Brickopotamus, I'll reply to you in 1 second. But he got his feet there, so he's able to turn. The biggest thing I don't like is when people get their feet sort of there, but their momentum's carrying them. But in this case, David Louis was planted. It's a very smooth set. This is where Nick's got to know better and do better and just see more. If you watch here, I mean, he moved his feet 0 from the time of set to where he's hitting. In this case, he's falling backwards, as you can see. He's yeeting it straight down, and he's hitting probably 2 feet above the net. For me, there's a more effective shot, which is A, probably short, B, pull, C, hit it low, somewhere besides yeeting it up to the sky and letting it pocket. I thought the set was good. Hit marginally decent. Grant, terrible for him, but he's perfected that little flick shot. Brickopotamus. I don't really find the jam serve to be effective. Am I wrong? I would say it is very effective if you have other serves in your arsenal. People always ask me, what's the best serve? And for me, I say all the serves. If you have a variety of serves and you can trick them and get them guessing on where you're serving, then you have effective serves across the board. If you just have a jam serve and a mild step out, no, you're not going to fool anybody. But throwing variety, bop. Yeah, I see. Frederick, I see your comment. Frederick said at the time of the hit, David was kind of right in front of him. And I do somewhat agree. But for me, you got to trust your partner to get out. But, there's a very clear open pathway from half the net on that way. Which for me, at this level, I think everyone should be able to hit. But, yeah. But also, Nick, the biggest thing I talk to a lot of players about is just, being able to see it clearly and controlled. But then even so, just form-wise, if you want me to wreck you because you said let's get wrecked, even this hit, if you watch, you can't really see, but if you watch here, your shoulder is almost where David Louis' shoulder is, and you are hitting on the net, which you should be very parallel almost in your shoulders, and there's no need to blast this ball and then come out of it as you did here and do like a big old yater where you have to jump and everything. Because for me, that's the next level for you, is being able to mentally see the ball, see the option, hit the shot you want without overexerting yourself and creating that potential error. That's kind of where my head's at for hitting. Good up. That was good up. Good play all around. I'm going to go back to that one. Nice. 1, 2, yeet. Again here, there's a lot of touch in this game. I wish I was keeping track of touches. And next game, honestly, if someone wants to volunteer to do touches and defensive conversions, honestly, I'm lost at this point. But I'd be interested in aces and double faults for those guys keeping track right now. But just the potential of touch here. And this is people, they ask me all the time, like, what can I do? How can I change things? And it's really just slowing down the game in your head. That's a great touch. Honestly, solid set. But I'm here to watch this next play right here. But that's a great ball. David Louis, one thing I would say about the set, and it might be something that no one really cares, but just don't get too trapped in that backwards push. You see a very slight push right here, back, and that's just because your feet are both cemented in the ground and you're having to drag. If you're up on your toes and moving, this set is buttery biscuits right over the net and gives him a little bit more time to go probably lefty with this versus hit righty wherever the ball is coming from. And again, these are just nitpicking. This is high-level round net. I'm not going to be like, oh, you should have teleported and did things. But there are always little minute things that make the game a lot easier on everybody. That was a nice, clean 1, 2, 3. Love the content. Thank you. He says, love content video reviews. Keep it up. Germany. Yay. Living up in Germany. I got to go. Grant having 1 double fault. Lewis having 2. So 2 aces, 2 double faults. Don't worry, JC. Thank you much. Nice reverse cut here. Coleman's legs just got a little bit twisted here because, David Louis has that quick, hard cut, and he just commits to the cut here, and then his hips go forward, and he kind of gets wrecked on the back. But, when you're dealing with David Louis serves, it's a problem. It's a good look, like you said. I like the talk out of Texas players. There's always a lot of good talk. I'm not even going to pretend to do stats right now. I'm too focused on everything else. Even though there's just 3 double faults right there. Don't do it. 4 double faults. 1, 2. Ay, mamma mia, quesadilla. Oh, Noah's got... Thank you, Noah, for getting me. All right. Going back to this hit. And if you're in the comment section right now, I'm going to let you guys watch this video back real quick. And then you guys think, guess what I'm going to talk about? What do you think I'm going to talk about? Bob. It's just a bummer. Does everything right. 1, 2. And then. It's all I'm going to say is his back leg. When you're watching yourself, watching other people play, if they're hitting with a fully extended leg, I guarantee you they're going to make hitting errors. And that's something you can fix by just taking an extra tiny little step, and then he can flick that shot wherever the heck he wants. Luca J says the shoulders. In this case, honestly, he's hitting a backhand, so it's hard to have terrible shoulders unless you're really, really trying to yeet the ball. But in this case, it's just a matter of taking that one little last step. And then he has literally anywhere he wants, and Coleman's buns. But in this case, Coleman made a move, made him scared a little bit, and he just tried to force a hit. And you see a little hop out of his hit. That's the biggest problem. That's got to be lip there. Coleman's really going to this short. Yeah, shoulder looks good. Frederick's right. Little wave goodbye. See if you can get another ace. Yurt. Ooh, double faults, double faults. Good reverse from Grant. Good, David Louis. Here we go. Let's check it. I like his patience. This set, I could talk about it. I'm not going to. But I'm going to check out this hit because he hit a solid hit. He had a lot of patience. Look at this adjustment step right here. This is what I'm talking about. This is what we're looking for. This is nice. Check it. And I'm also, one thing to say. I'm analyzing footage and I'm very critical. These guys are all phenomenal players. Some people, I've gotten like 2 DMs and they're like, hey, like, are these guys good or not? I can't tell in that context. And I'm like, no, everybody, these are high quality athletes, I should say. But he takes this step right here. So he comes in and he, little adjustment step, yurt, waits. Look at that form. Oh, look, there's freaking a wall to my left. I'll just push it away. Nice, easy peasy, 1, 2, 3-Z. Solid job. Oh, Grant, you lucky dog. He wasn't sure if he was going to set that. 1, 2, yurt. So, again, I'm going to just talk about hitting because it seems to be the consistent theme. It's just coming out of a hit early like this. This is what caused the problem in the last hit. In this case, he got away with it. Good body by Coleman. Grant's in a good spot. Good choice. Again, it's just a matter of form, technique. Jonathan Hope says, when someone yeets a ball, is it best to try and run long and defend it or try to get a touch close to the net before the ball gets too high? Hey, what a freaking rally. Yow! We got to go back and watch that because I was thinking about a question before, but I saw Nick just get a freaking sick up back here. Alrighty. To answer that question, if someone yeets a ball deep or if someone, is going to yeet a ball deep, where should you stand? It really depends on personal preference, but the only thing is if you turn and run, you vacate space. And then either A, your partner needs to cover that. But if the set's right over the middle of the net, you vacate one whole side. I mean, now they have 270 degrees to work with versus like 180. So for me, rotate along the 6. If you know that they're going to eat it for a fact because they have terrible form and they're just going straight down, sure, turn your shoulder, stay open to the ball, and track it down. Or you do what Coleman does and get in front of the ball and body. So, I mean, it's really just 2 options. Try them both. I mean, one or both or a little bit of combo is going to work. But, yeah, we got to watch this rally because it's a rally and they don't happen often. 1, 2. Keep in mind this whole thing where the rally should have ended in my mind. Look at this little ending little curtsy right here from Nick. Wait for it. I love to see it. We're going to talk about just a few things in this rally and a few defensive plays because I know people like to hear about defense. So we're going to 1, 2. This is where the rally should have ended, A, because Grant had a lot of options and he could have hit it low. But if you watch defense here, I'm going to give these 2 boys props. They're both 6 feet off the net. Realistically, in my mind, I probably would have sent David Louis a little more this way because sometimes when you're setting from deeper off the net, the set's either going to drop short or it's going to go deep. In this case, they got lucky because the ball dropped a little bit short from Coleman's set, and immediately he recognized this. This is something that I talk a lot about, and it's just that mental awareness and mental capacity to see the ball for what it is and not get caught up in, oh my gosh, I'm playing Roundnet. Oh my gosh, they're going to hit it somewhere. If you don't pay attention to the subtle cues like this set early on that hasn't even started dropping and you don't know where it's going, you're going to get beat. Nick's going to stand there and then he's going to get beat and be like, how would I ever supposed to know? Because things that happened prior to the hit. So in this case, He sees, oh my gosh, it's going over this way. David Louis is running somewhere. But Nick, solid read. Yurt. That's a good high set. 1, 2, solid body. Honestly, the put-ons here are all pretty solid. I mean, it's a little rough, in mid-rally to get the plays you deserve and plays you need. But overall, solid rally. Grant should have put that ball away early on. But phenomenal defense from both teams. And then Nick just gets an easy put away. So Lucas says it should have, rally should have ended with a short from Grant. I agree, but short shots when it's an offset sometimes are hard because it's just a matter of tracking it, and it leaves a lot of room for lipping up. Whereas just waiting on that ball and pushing it low, it could have done the same thing. But yeah, short or low doesn't really matter. But Grant has a tendency to jump as he hits, and I'll talk about his hitting at some point. I've just seen it a lot and talked about it before, but we can dive into that as well. Anyway, moving forward, Joe Olson, big fan. Dude, I'm a big fan of your Instagram. And thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone being here and making this, fun for all of us, because I like doing this because you guys like me doing it. So it's a win-win for all of us. Also, the shorts today, not like the actual, attire shorts, but the drops like that are just all over. That's a bummer. It's a bummer that they had to redo that. So one thing David Louis is trying to do, and I'm going to go back to these two plays because he tries it kind of twice in a row here, is he's trying to push it into Coleman, which is a good strategy. And I talked about that earlier. 1, 2. But in this case, Coleman's really, really, really solid with his hands. It's a dangerous push into body, just because it's a matter of if you push it too soft, Coleman's going to be able to react to it. If you push it too hard, it might bump off of him and go to Grant. So either for me, I try and hit it on the back end of them, like, close to his feet. In this case, he didn't really have that option because he was showing late. But in this case, I would have probably pulled it more, whipped it away from Coleman. Grant's in your behind zone, and it would have been easy peasy, shot selection, but also good play from Coleman. You can't really be too upset about it. Nice 1, 2. I mean, that's a good push. I mean, it's just a good hand from Coleman. An interesting misserve. I have about 10 of those tournament where I missed by like 12 feet. Again, I talk about Grant Laughlin's variety. The fact that he throws in this fake right here, that changes his whole serving game for the rest of the game. Because I know he has a backhand. He hasn't really hit it much. But I know for a fact that if he fakes a backhand, in my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe he has a backhand, and I respect it. But 99% of the time, I'm going to stand on his cut until he hits his backhand past me. I see a few questions here, so I'm going to go real quick. Let's see. What exactly is a lip up? A lip up is when, like, if this is the net. I don't have anything good. If this candle is the net and it hits the net first and then it pops up off the rim, that's a lip up. So pretty much it rolls, contacts, whether it hits the rim or not, but it hits that pockety zone and then lips up. That is a lip up. That was a good serve. Hey, there's that jam serve for, I think that was Brickopotamus who was asking if jam serves are good or not. Question, roll-ups obviously illegal on serves. How about mid-rally? Roll-ups mid-rally are fine, and on serve you have the option to play them if you wish. Tough serves from Grant coming at them. 1, 2. Yay. I don't hate that call. I'm going to talk about Nick's set here because we've been talking a lot about Nick's setting. But prior to Grant being a beautiful door blocking our vision, you can see Nick rocking and cradling his arm here. It's just a matter of extending out and then quick feet, get behind it, and give yourself that elbow space to set efficiently and properly. But in this case, he kind of sets close, and it dies in. His feet are off the ground. And it just gives them a better read on the ball because instead of coming from high and over the net, it's coming quick to the net, and then Grant can just step in and take that shot. One thing I will say in terms of people bodying around the net, it's a pet peeve of mine. It's a great strategy, but David Louis or shout out to anybody, if they're in your way, feel free to swing big. And if you make contact, A, it'll be your point. B, it'll push them off the net. And C, they will respect their distance. I'm never, ever, 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 ever saying hit somebody, but there are many times where David Louis might swing and then potentially his leg comes up or something and would hit Coleman if he was in that spot. And that's one of the tough things with defense on Roundnet right now is there's so much gray area of like, oh, you were in my way, you weren't in my way. And honestly, I'm sure he saw Coleman in his peripheral and didn't swing super hard because of it. It's just food for thought. I usually just vocal say, hey, just for, warning's sake, like that is normally where I'd follow through and I would hit you. It's better than kicking them. But it's just a thought and it's just something to be said. Get out of my vision. Yeah, moving forward. Anyway, that was a kind of a hander right there. Coleman thought he had a play on the ball, so they redid it with a drop again. Brandon says, off top, how long do you practice ace celebrations with Caleb? We have a dispute here. We don't ever practice them. It's just impromptu. Whatever we're feeling, we do it. We got to go frame by frame here, folks, because I don't even know. Okay, that was bad. Go to the next one. Short, bad. Double fault. Okay. Double fault here again. All right. Moving to Coleman. Serve now. Bop, 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 bop. A. Maybe close. Ooh. I don't know. I have no idea based off visual, but it looks pretty dang close. They called rim. I don't know. Also, know if you're keeping tracks of double faults and aces, sorry I keep going back and forth a million times to watch over points and whatnot. Pocket. I thought it was pocket. Couldn't see anything, but it felt like a pocket just based off of being high on him. So, for you newcomers, if you were unaware of what a pocket, roll up, all that fun stuff is, you're seeing it happen a lot here. It's just where the ball changes trajectory off the net. And we also might have a new video explaining Roundnet lingo and showing what it is. We might have one soon. We may have just filmed a bunch of videos for the next few weeks. I don't know. A lot of calls happening here. A lot of interesting plays. Let's freaking go, G-Laugh. Jesus Christ. I thought it was a rim anyway, but he kicked him in the head because he's furious. He's got the up. No, that's not why. I'm going to go back to this point here. And again, we're just talking about hitting. We're talking about setting efficiency. And it's just shot selection out of David Louis and Nick right now, not my favorite. Coleman and Grant have been pretty clean. Grant's form has led to a lip up or two that's been defensive. Yeah, break upon us. You can ask a million random questions. That goes for all chat. If you guys have questions, it can be Roundnet or not. Feel free to shoot. If I see it, I'll answer it. Anyway, like I'm saying again, setting wise, he's just straight up and down. He's a pole right now, setting a ball. David Louis here, for me, I'm hitting a push shot. I'm hitting a hard push shot or a lefty wrap, in which case Grant's in my way, in which case to get the point. I'm not hitting it because Grant's there, but I'm hitting it because that space is not open, and I'm making the appropriate response. I'm hitting it that way, hitting this way. The only thing about this is I think Grant is mentally hindering him, and he's just going to push right into Grant. But with body defense, you gotta be patient with where you're hitting. It's one-on-one. Don't worry about the other guy. Normally, they're just going to mirror each other on both sides of the net. So you pick one direction. I'm going this way. Where is he? I'm going to hit around him. That's how I kind of go at body defense, and it's a win-win for me because it's one-on-one. It's easy peasy. I hit it past them, through them, around them, because I'm focusing on them. When they're off the net, it's harder for me to hit because I don't necessarily always see where they are. But in body defense, you know exactly where they are. It just takes a little bit more patience and a little bit more, just technique, I guess, to really hit that available shot. Yeah, I'm with Frederick. He just commented David needs to step into Grant and just have the point. I am for this. Again, it's not because it's an easy point and you should just step into people 4 points, because that's not at all how the game works. But the open shot is over that way. Grant is clearly in his way. Go for the open shot. If you make a hinder / get hindered, you get the point. 1-2. I thought it was rim. Yeah, it was rim. Okay, good. But also, Grant, I'm sorry about your shoulder, dude, because that was no bueno. Hey. Lip, double lip. Rim. On cue. Rim. Someone just asked right now, what is the number one thing mid-level advanced players should be working on? Yeah, Grant. Lefty. Just the basics. I think every player should work on basics more, because I already know mid-advanced players are working on serves. And that just, it only gets you so far. There's a lot of guys who ride that premier high off their serves, but they're not proficient setters, hitters, serve returners, and their IQ is not amazing. So really, sorry, I felt like a rally was happening. Really for me, it's just, watch my videos, ask higher level players, learn from them techniques on how to set and how to hit. If you're the best setter and hitter in the game and serve receiver, it's hard. It's going to be hard to beat you. Obviously, you need to serve to create breaks, but David Louis, you're getting lucky with these things. Take your time. I like it. We're just going to watch a little bit here because I have been talking quite a storm up for the first 8 minutes of this match. And we're trying to go for an hour here, trying to go maybe an hour and a half if we must. Double faults galore. Beautiful backhand serve. Okay, that is game one. Go back to this super sick webcam talking. Thoughts on game one? If I were David Louis and Nick's coach, or Grant and Coleman's coach, there'd be certain things I'm saying. Also, know if you have the stats between aces and double faults and whatnot, I'd love to see them. The biggest thing for me, obviously, serves are getting breaks, but there's also being points lost on just silly little errors. And Grant and Coleman are getting a lot of touches, but they're rushing their sets a lot of time, or they're rushing their hits, and then they've hit rim, I think, 2-3 times. And then vice versa for Nick and David Louis. It's kind of come down to, it's kind of come down to, can they put a hit away? Because, like I said, Grant and Coleman are getting great defensive touches, but their David Louis and Nick's shot selection is not phenomenal as of now. So if I were both those teams, I would worry less about big aces and worry more about moving your feet effectively and then getting there. But again, I think there's phenomenal things happen. Some of these serves are mind-blowing, and I don't give them quite enough credit because I'm here to talk about more than just acing, because that's what generally seems to be talked about a lot. We have some stats coming in from Noah. Coleman had 5 double faults, no aces the first game, but 7 defensive touches, which is huge. That's 7 defensive touches, having more touches than double faults and or aces. That's huge. So kudos to Coleman. He's becoming one of the better defensive players in the scene pretty rapidly. Ever since June, he became a real threat on the defensive end and just in general. Grant, he had 6 double faults, 2 aces, and 4 defensive touches. 1 out of 3. If you're getting an ace to double fault ratio in today's game, that's not bad. But again, double faults, it's a really it's not a slippery slope, but it's a hard thing to balance, between going for an ace and not going for an ace. For me, I just put on a challenging second serve because if you're losing a lot of points off double faults, you got to just hone it back a little bit. Especially Coleman, if he's not acing, you just put on your toughest quick serve and maybe get a bad touch. I know when in Utah, when Caleb was carrying me and I was just not doing well serving wise, I just told myself and told Caleb, I was like, hey, I'm going to put serves on and I'm going to be an effective overall player versus just focus on aces. And I feel like people get caught up in that. But then for the other team here, we have David, 10 double faults, 4 aces, 2 defensive touches. So less defensive touches there, more aces. However, a lot of double faults. Given he has more opportunity to double fault because he has been getting aces. But, I mean, it's just 10 double faults in a game. I don't even know if that's right. But that's a lot of double faults. That's 10 free points that you just handed the other team and said, here. But getting 4 aces again, I mean, like I said, 1 out of 3. He's getting a higher ratio than 1 for 3 at this point, which is pretty solid. And then to top it all off, Nick is having 6 double faults with no aces and 4 defensive touches. So right now, I mean, David Louis, as much as he did have a lot of double faults, he did create 4 breaks, which is pretty huge. But to have like 6 and no aces, like Nick had, and then Coleman, same thing, 5 with no aces. You got to make it up somewhere. In this case, Coleman did. He had 7 defensive touches. Nick, 4 defensive touches. Not bad. But all being said, I thought it was a pretty clean game. There was 2 rallies maybe, which is more than the average game. So I'm not too upset. I have a few questions here real quick. People are asking, how can I take Brick Eponymous says, all right, so how can I take backspin off my reverse cut? I'm not quite sure what you mean because you need backspin for a reverse cut. Because you need backspin and side spin. Just like for a cut, you need top spin and side spin. So I don't think you want to take backspin off of it. And then I got another question saying, hey, what's wrong with setting while standing straight up? It's hard to be a rigid object and to make a fluid motion. That's the easiest way I can put it and word it is, if you're trying to give ball trajectory forward and you are just straight up into the ground, it's going to be hard to manipulate that ball and push it where you want. Nick, yeah. See, I don't know if you lost 16 points on double faults. It might be true, but again, like Noah said, he might have added a point or two. There's enough backspin the receiver is able to get it back in time. He's saying, so this is back to a reverse cut comment. It dies like a drop, though. Like, there's enough backspin. Yeah, so, I mean, that's just kind of, if you're swinging from super high up, a lot of people hit a lot of backspin. So lower your arm down a little bit and push through that ball more so then you get more side spin than you do just pure backspin. Yeah, Frederick Hinkle, if you want to talk to Brick Eponymous about that, that would be nice. All right, anyway, back to the footage review. Whoop. And bop. Double fault to start off the game. 2. Interesting. So one thing, Nick, and I know you're watching, and I love, critiquing form and everything, but I just want you to watch this hit here and really see what I mean. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Overnet hitting or not, but something like this where there's a lot of open area, I mean, you can hit a tweener, you can hit here, you can hit short, but if you raise your shoulder, your opposing shoulder super duper high, it's going to be hard to really, manipulate that ball and put it where you want to. I know just boom blasting and yeeting the ball is 90% of the time an option, But with these two guys being defensive, solid players, boom blasting it might not be the best, especially with Coleman. He got 7 touches the first game, and that's a large part. But I would just keep that shoulder down, move that foot around, and then just push that ball right smooth sailing where there is nobody. Again, no touch hit, but it just, it did lip up. And for me, that's a chance for error. I didn't know what would happen there. It looked like it was good, but pocket. I thought it pocketed. Yeah, they redid it. It's such a small variation. I hope all of you watching understand what's happening with these pocket calls. Big push. Let's see if we can get some Coleman and Grant action here in terms of setting and hitting. Honestly, I think, Noah, if you were correct, I think that's why we didn't have a lot of hitting and setting, comments about Grant and Coleman. Because I think David, Louie, and Nick truly gave up like 90% of their points off just service errors. Quick serve off the rim. I just love David Louie's little arm. That was a good serve right there. Just caught the nice little spot. David Louie popping off. I got to watch these 2 little serves again here. This is sick. This is where you got to give love to service because it's next level. Let's see here. It's process, Nick. I had to rewatch my own time. Correct. I'll try it. Thanks. No worries. And I got it first. Cool. Drop looked good. Yeah, it looked pretty good. All right, here we go. Let's watch this. I just want to watch this frame by frame because I just want to see the movement off the net. Wait for a little wave. Yurt. Bop. Don't worry about the fact that it like lips. Every single serve is bad in slow motion. But just watch this motion. It's going like at Coleman's shoulder right now. And then it just goes, I see ya. Oh, there it is. There it is, folks. I don't know if you watch my serve receive videos, but I'm pretty sure I demonstrate hips going backwards. Hips going backwards. This is why Coleman gets 8th, because he plants and he has a predetermined length of where he can get to in his mind, which, I'm definitely guilty of it a lot of times as well. And I've definitely done this, but this is just a glory example of what not to look like when you're serve receiving. But again, David Louie, phenomenal serve. I probably would have gotten ace too. It's just I'm always looking at what could be better. In this case, that could have been better, but phenomenal serve by David Louie is the consensus there. Tough serves. And these low reverse cuts too. David Louie's popping off. 1, 2, good touch. Coleman's hoping to get it here. That was a very low hit. I thought that thing was bad. Hey, Nick. Variety. Let's go. Especially game 1. If you have a whole game at a high level and you have no aces, it's either A, the serve receiver is super duper good and unaceable, which isn't true because everyone's aceable, or B, you got to throw something different at them. Trying to always hit your cut serve past people, I know I'm guilty of it. I'm like, I can cut it farther. I can cut it harder. But sometimes, I had probably more aces off my left hand at Utah Nationals than my right hand. And that's not an over-exaggeration. It's just because it was working for me. But I just always throw weird stuff at people because you never know what's going to work. Let's see. What do we got going on here? Anything? Always drop steps, and Grant almost never does against David. Grant knows that David has a reverse cut. Yeah. Frederick brings up a good point. He's saying that Coleman drop steps a lot against David, whereas Grant doesn't, because Grant plays him a lot and knows that he has a solid reverse. But Coleman really drop steps deep. I don't mind drop stepping, by the way. I do it a lot. It's just a matter of if you're going to drop step, it's imperative that you stay on that toe. If you don't stay on your toe and someone hits a good reverse, especially a low reverse, you're going to get wrecked. It's just a matter of fact. Moving forward. That low hit from Nick. I mean, it's like Grant's. You're gonna have a good hit every once in a while. Oh, kick the net. So watch. I'm gonna critique Grant and Coleman here because we have an opportunity because they're hitting a ball off the net. Let's go. All right. Fast forward a little bit here. Coleman has a tendency to do this. And again, it's not the worst thing. He's like a foot away from the net. But in my hitting experience, I like a little more time because then I get to read the defense. They freeze for longer, and then they have to, guess where I'm hitting versus seeing a pretty low set that didn't go 6 feet high in the air. And then Grant, one thing you'll notice that's peculiar, and I've told them a lot, is this hand. Something about Grant Laughlin is he puts his hand down and he commits to a shot early. Once his hand's down, Grant probably hits either here or here. I don't even know. 90% of the time, 100% of the time, I don't really know. But we are going to talk about hits real quick. One thing you see here in this frame by frame is Grant extends up. Wait for it, and boom, he starts going up, which allows a lot of time for David Louis to react to this ball. If Grant didn't pop up in that hit and he just started a tiny bit higher, that wouldn't have leapt up and David Louis would never got a touch on this. Obviously, we all saw the infraction right there where he kicks the net. But if Grant just literally that minute difference, he's flicking that ball easy past David Louis and, game moves on. Hopefully the stream quality looks good. If you guys want to comment and say if it's good or not, let me know. But the stream quality looks to be decent at best right now. It's like red to orange. Let's see. Do you have a lefty cut or do you just trust the receivers too far out covering right cut? I have a lefty cut. I feel like it's definitely something you need. If it's just straight left, straight right, you really don't have too much to work. But yeah, I mean, if you can develop a lefty cut, it's definitely nice. Everyone's saying it's laggy. Let me double check to see that I'm off the Wi-Fi real quick. I'm off the Wi-Fi. Don't know. I guess we're just going to have to keep on rolling, and if it's a little bit laggy, I hope that it fixes itself, because I don't really want to stop the stream, because that's no good. Yeah, let's keep moving on. If it gets too bad, feel free to comment and just say, hey, like restart the stream and come back on, but I really don't want to do that. 1, 2, easy peasy. Oof. These defensive plays, honestly, are solid. And I got to give credit to both teams. As I say, kudos. Got to give credit, where it's due. Because both these teams are working on defense. But it's also, so that right there, solid set from Nick. I have to give it to him. Because he gave him so much time. Bloop. And it was easy peasy. You freeze the defense when you go high. When you go super quick, the defense can easily jump and just go. Great. Coleman having a little bit of fun there. Good serve. Good set. Solid patience from David Louis. He pushed out, faded away like a good jumper. This is all clean round net happening right here. Just nice 1, 2, 3. Good serve from Grant. Honestly, I mean, this is all good stuff. The weakest drop is the best drop because it was an amazing drop. And it wasn't weak at all. I think it was strengthy. Would have aced the poop out of me. Oof. Oof. I'm just watching it now. I'm enjoying it. I haven't watched Roundnet in a minute. This is why I like these live streams, because I actually get to watch, Roundnet happen. Comes in. Breaks. High pocket. Shoot. All right, hold on. We got to do something about this stream because you guys are saying it's pretty much gone down. No. Let me know if it's better now. It looks to be better. in terms of the green. I'm going to hold off just a second because I really want this to be clear for you guys. Let me know. Here, laggy. Hi, Ginger Nick. Hopefully this stream comes back to life. Preston enjoying it a little too much. I know, dude. I'm enjoying it, and it's just everything's breaking down. Super lag. No. Baby, come back. Ooh. Let me see if I can do something. It's okay now, people are saying. Let's see what we got going on here. Sorry. It should be a little bit better, but I'm not sure what's happening here. But we're going to continue on, and let's keep going. It says that it's good. It says that it's fine. I'm going to continue. Hopefully it keeps it going. Hopefully it stays steady. Looks better. All right. Here we go. We're back. We're back, and we are hopefully happy and smooth. One, two, dirt. One thing I'm seeing a lot from David and Nick is this deep serve receive. And then they slide out almost every single time. Let's just take a little looky-loo at this. So one thing, check this out. This is where it goes wrong. And this might have been happening every single time. I don't know for a fact. But if you watch it, their stance, so they're going out, whatever, step out, he steps with them. Good. Little micro hop, keeps 1 foot on the ground all times. But then the thing is, you see this right here, where all his weight comes straight up for a moment. You can see it in fast motion. You see a little boop, and then that's when he has to slip out. It's not the worst, but honestly, it's just one of those things where if you let your weight shift away from you, it's going to take a whole lot longer to gather it than it does to, mess it up. Yeeting into the body. All right, well, we're hoping that this is smooth. That was lip. 1, 2, 3. So, Nick, we got to talk about your set again. Slash, I just want you to see your set because all of this footage review stuff is really honestly for people to get better, more efficient. And in this, for me, I would have rather you run through the ball and be tight elbow and push out just because then you can get a true guide. For me, though, it's you get here, you're standing straight up, and then it's just a chunk of a hand forcing that ball out. Or you set lefty and then you just get a nice little boop. But it's just a really like rigid set. It doesn't look fluid to me, and that's the biggest thing. And again, the biggest thing is just time for those sets. I know people get confused sometimes. I'm like, why are you even talking about it? Holy nuts. What a freaking play. Let's go, Coleman. Let's go. This is what effort does. Hiya. Way to gather yourself. Tough touch from him. We got to look at Coleman's dive, though, because honestly, yes, athletic play, woohoo. But also, if you watch, he's making his set, and he's not so much worried about bracing for impact until after the set. And then he's like, okay, I'm just going to be a freaking noodle and break my legs in the ground. But he really stays in this set the whole entire time. Watch. Set. Boom. His body's just going far, far, far through the ball. Good set. David Louis. No, don't trip on the don't trip on the stats. Really solid reverse. Game 2 is over. I'm just reading comments right now, making sure that we are at least decent. Okay, so yeah, so I'm hearing that that's good. That's good comment, Nick. Thank you for that. The footage is smooth when you have it slowed down. Um, fast motion, is it really that bad? We'll keep going on here. Good little power hit. I'm gonna talk about that hit real quick from David Louis, just because. I mean, it's a pretty good set, but for me, this right here, reaching far out across your body, I've talked about it. It's hard to give time on a set. So this ball goes maybe 5.5 feet tall, but David Louis is still adjusting. He does make a big step here to make that happen. For me, I'd probably just step and hit righty, but he yeets it backhand. It's a good adjustment from him. I know a lot of you are like, but wait, Preston, he had one leg. The thing is, he attempted to take a step, and then he slid his back leg with him versus being one leg planted and then hitting it very, very high. Good touch from Coleman, but for what it's worth, solid stuff. Ayah. Those are always rough. Coming back to the net. So so these two plays very hard, and realistically at the very, very top level, it's debatable if people are going to get these balls back on the net as is. I'm not even going to talk about the set. I'm going to talk about the hitting coming back to net. So he actually makes a pretty good adjustment in terms of coming in and swinging, but for this, especially being off the net, especially sprinting, I'm going to take a literal downward adjustment to my swing. I'm not going to try and yeet it so much as to have perfect form, because for me, I'm trying to put it on. Unless you're trying to go for an ultimate, this is an absolute yeet, and I definitely do that sometimes, and get a kill, go with this. But for me, coming in, I'm going to come high, either A, slide in, bop it, or B, literally just come in and try and strike that thing from a high point of contact and have a lot of surface area to contact that net. Because realistically, if you keep the ball alive, A, you might catch a pocket, it might go backwards. B, it'll go on, which C, then the rally continues. For me, I'm not going to try and hit this ball low trajectory and just skip it off the net. I'm going to try and boom blast it off the net, force them to make a play versus, the 10-90 trade-off of I get a point, I miss the net completely. No. So Nick, he just said, dang it, Fred. You said hit hard. I agree with Fred. You should hit hard, but just how you hit hard for me in this scenario, full sprint, come back to the net, it's going to be rough to make it on the net. That's just my personal preference. Definitely, if you watch a lot of footage, I've had hits from behind the back. I've had hits, just dumb hits that I should never, ever do, and they work out. But it's in the moment that is your highest chance to hit on the net. If you get your feet there and you're able to, 100%, I'm yeeting this ball low. I'm opening my shoulder, and I'm unloading a cannon on the ball. But just in full motion, it's just hard to do. This hit, interesting. Not the best set. I agree. I don't mind the tweener, honestly. But realistically, this is where seeing the ball and being able to really slow down time in your mind comes into hand. So you're taking big strides. This little jump right here is what kind of messes you up. Because you're like, ooh, let me jump to the net. But the problem is then you're landing 2 feet, and then you can't adjust back. Because your body wants to. Your weight's backwards. You're like, holy crap, let me put on the air brakes and get there. But realistically, if you're running in and then planting, you can run in, skirt, back up, yeet this ball with the righty easy. That's where it goes wrong. This is why I don't mind the tweener, because for what it's worth, your feet, you're out of place. You're making a desperate attempt to get back to where the ball is, and you yeet a tweener. I'm all for it. One, two, three. Good serve. Good serve. Let's go, Nick. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. I love it. I love the love, dude, of the game right now. I see these players just wanting it. 1, 2. Easy peasy. 1, 2, 3 easy. And just a tip for a lot of people out there, you don't have to hit hard to hit open shots. If someone's going to get to a ball, rip the crap out of it. You know, make sure they never have a chance to touch that ball. But if there's an open spot, you know, take your time, do everything right, and then put it in open space. Or hit as hard as you possibly can and have, you know, a great time hitting the ball as hard as you can. But that's just, it's personal preference. For me, I'll take a point any day. Like that. That was a great spot hit from Grant. He didn't yeet it too hard. Breakopotamus has the best comment. He says, I think at a point where I really got to start thinking about form. Whenever you start any sport or anything, you should think about form if you're trying to get better. So I'm happy that you're at that point. 1, 2. Ooh. Rough set. Solid handle from David Louis. 1, 2, 3. Dude, drop serves are automatic every single time. Tough. Drop it like it's hot. Grant Laughlin. Okay. I'll take this set from Grant Laughlin. A lot of people won't do what Grant did. They will plant their feet right here, and they will reach, and they will come through and just freaking swat at the ball. Grant, again, tough set. I probably would have just set it lefty personally. But for the sake of setting righty, he's working his feet to the ball. He doesn't jump. He takes calculated, quick footwork to get his hand there. He has some room in his elbow, and he really gives Coleman a pretty solid little boop of a set to give him time enough to hit. So Grant Laughlin, solid set there. I will give it to you again. I mean, you worked for that set. I didn't absolutely, love the form because I think lefty was the choice there. But I see you working. I missed that, but I hear let's go. And yep, that's a good serve. That's money in the bank. Shorty what you drank kind of thing. They called lip. I do appreciate everyone's sportsmanlike. You call what you see right away. That was a little late call for me, but one thing I'm going to point out about this point has nothing to do with form or anything else, but it's just if you make a call, make it, move on. Something in Coleman's body language tells me that he made a call, and he was almost fine with getting aced. If you watch right here, he goes, bummer. And he kind of stands up and watches and waits for Grant. Whereas for me, I'm going to be yelling my butt off, say, Caleb, come on, get your butt there. And I'm going to be moving to the net in anticipation for a buttery biscuit set. But yeah, if you make a call, stick by it. I'm one to make, I try and make the quickest calls in the game. And unless I, rethink it and I'm wrong, I'm going to stick by it and I'm going to move on. But next to Frederick. Frederick has probably some of the quicker calls in the game too. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Backs out Coleman there. This is a replay of what should have happened earlier when we were talking about David Louis stepping through the hit and kind of forcing the defense out of the way. David Louis reaches in, sets that ball. But if you notice, Coleman is, he can't get into the space he wanted to because Nick saw an open shot and said, I'm taking the shot, pushing Coleman back, creating that gap, putting it in a great spot. You could talk about form all day, but in terms of hitting choice there, high quality. And Coleman's in, he's just in disbelief. He's like, how was it not there? That's why you weren't there. Grant Laughlin, everybody. Nice. Nice. 1, 2. That hit was definitely good, by the way. Grant feeling himself. Having fun is a big part around that. I'm just going to put it out there. If you're not having fun, You ain't playing Roundnet. Drop serves. So one thing about these drop serves and something about just second serve in general, you either got to rip it, go for an ace, or the better option is to put a serve on. And these guys right now, they won game one because they put serves on more than Coleman and Grant did. Actually, I don't know if that's true. That's a false claim, Preston. But I think game two and game three, they put more serves on so far. Drop serves, though, I wouldn't necessarily go with it just because if you drop too many times, it's just easy lunch money, and then you're freaking eating. Tough rundown. Breakopotamus says, when are we getting the 6 feet off the net, no look, backward spike tutorial? I mean, honestly, get 10,000 subs, I will give you that video. So tell your friends to sub. If you guys are watching this, you haven't subbed, go sub. Bop. Oh, it was bad serve. I was so confused. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just watching this game right now, and I'm trying to figure out what happened here. I think Nick thought it was bad, and then he just caught the ball. Oh, it was a carry. Okay. That makes sense. That makes more sense now. Front rim. Coleman 100%. That's how I feel, too. 19s right now. I like it, though, Nick. Throw some variety in there. Hey, learn a backhand drop while you're at it. It's a good save put on serve from Grant. One thing, Grant, and maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I know you get a lot of torque and you get a lot of whip, but I feel like sometimes you come back too early. Like your leg kick is too early. Like when you go here, and if you watch it in fast motion, it's a little easier to see, but you pull back super hard. And that's not to say it's bad at all. I would just literally bring your forward slightly, like the smallest amount. Just come forward slightly with your lean, do the same exact serve, and I think you'll land a lot more serves. And then you kind of mess with it in terms of how much you're leaning into it, how much you're leaning out of it. But Tyler Chiswick did a great job of kind of manipulating his serve by how much he was in it, in terms of how much he was over his serve, and then how much he was back. And that's something I would pick up on in terms of like where he's trying to cut it, what he's trying to do, is just kind of mess with the forward and back a little bit, because a lot of your serves you do miss, left, or you miss slightly deep. And that serve you were very straight up on top of it, as you saw. Very easy to put that serve on. Lip, pocket, lip, back. Good serve. Good set. Nick at the left hand. Ooh, Grant Laughlin. And this is why you have variety, folks. Grant Laughlin. Big boy serve to end the game. Fakey McTwisty. Hit him with the lefty. Hit him with the righty. Got a little bit of spice in there. I'm going to answer this question, then we'll wrap up this little stream here. Hopefully it's clear right now so you can hear me. He said, when's barrier spike thing all about? Changes and stuff. I'll talk about it very briefly. I think our sport is reaching some sort of defensive hiatus, and offense is continually just evolving. And the barrier is more just to nerf offense a little bit and to give defense a slight fresh of breath there. But any rule change, all rule change, I think is a good step forward, because I'm trying to make, and we are all trying to make, an Olympic sport, and have it be something that in 10 years is an Olympic sport. But yeah, barrier is just kind of like a physical no contact barrier that you cannot go inside of. Anyway, that was the stream. It is 6:14 right now. If you guys have any last minute questions, throw them out there. I will hang out for a minute or two and then answer what I can. Um, but yeah, this is a stream. I enjoy doing them. If you have games, if you have footage you need me to review, if you are not part of How to Run It Squad on Facebook, feel free to join in there. Ryder and I have been super busy, as always, with our personal lives, but we are trying to dedicate more time to HTR, and we should have more content for you coming out in the next few weeks here. What's for dinner? What's for dinner? I think I'm gonna make pot roast and probably some rice or something, and throw in some spinach. What's the best defense to run? Best defense? I mean, it's a ever variable defense. There's never one set defense that I would personally run every game. It's player specific and depends on what people hit is the defense that you run. Grant, yes, I confirm that you are a perfect player. I know I didn't talk too much about Grant and Coleman. To be fair, there was a lot of service errors, and then there was also a lot of clean 1-2-3s out of you guys. So, it is what it is. I think setting always Grant. I think Coleman just settling a little bit into his game, but that just comes with experience and playing and really pushing himself. But let's see. Thoughts on changing footwork meta on serve receive in terms of being flat, Frederick, like here, or are you talking about in terms of splitting? I don't know. I don't know if that's what you're talking about or not. But I think serve receive splitting is not bad. I do think as players progress their serves, I do think you need to get away from a big split because a very wide split is going to get you in trouble, whereas a flat-ish stance is going to allow you to really read both. I still, at this point, I haven't seen reverse cuts get to a point where there's a lot of speed to where I need to worry too much about it. But I also don't want to turn a blind hip to a reverse cut. So that's kind of my take on that. Anyway, it looks like we're all good to go. I'm sorry the stream was a little laggy. I'm not quite sure why that was, but it is what it is. And life goes on, and we will go on. I don't know when the next live stream is. Probably sometime next week. I will shoot out a thing on how to run that squad, so you guys are well aware of that. If you haven't already, please go subscribe. Share this with people who need to watch it. And that's really all I got for you today. Make sure to like it. Make sure to say hi to your mom. For yourself, not for me. What a terrible comment. All right, I'm out of here. Take care. HTR, thank you for the support. Pressing out. You go! What a terrible comment to end on. Deuces. Oh, man.